Ladies and gentle gamers, welcome back to To Be Determined. In today's video, I'm going to cover a bunch of the new attributes, specifically the ones you're going to want to focus on getting the moment the update drops. And of course, we're going to have to talk about the ones that are good for combat and all that stuff. And this should be the first guide of many. I'm planning on making a bunch of them as soon as the forging update drops. But some of them I just couldn't wait for, so I'll be making guides before the update drops as well. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So if you type /HB, then you'll get access to the hunting box. And once you've gotten 30 unique attributes, you can click on the hunting box up here at the top and get access to every single attribute in the game. Currently, there are over 6 pages, nearly 7 whole pages of attributes, and most of them are pretty decent for something. But today I want to go over the ones that will either help you get more attributes or are just above the rest as far as the stats and things that they give. So the first group we're going to talk about is the karma attributes. So each one of these attributes is going to give you a bit of siphon luck towards a specific rarity of attributes. Siphon luck is one of the new stats that increases your odds of getting an extra attribute every time you siphon a shard. Basically, when I claim this drowned attribute, there's a chance that it could claim multiple times, and instead of me just getting 3% more damage against humanoid creatures now, I could end up getting 6%, but it all depends on my siphon luck. So when we claimed that, I did get up to 6% more damage against humanoid creatures, so it looks like it did proc that time. So that just goes to show you exactly how important that siphon attribute is. But if I go ahead and click on these, I can also see how you get them. So for the decent karma, which is the common rarity one, you will have to fuse axolotl with the water category. So the fusion machine is right here in the first building. So if you go up in here and you have an axolotl shard, then you can click on that. And then if you have a water family shard, which I have neither of these, you can click on that one as well, and then you can fuse it into a new shard. And one of those shard options will be decent karma. The way that you get good karma, which is siphon luck for uncommon attributes, is from fusing the lizard family with the water category. So the water category, which you would also need for the previous one, is going to be any of these guys that you'll find here in the water. So if I just catch this guy real quick, you'll notice he's part of the tropical fish family, which I believe does count for the water section. And the way that you get lizards is from Kiara right here. So you can get vipers, crocodiles, eels, or geckos, and I believe they all count as lizards, which you can then use to fuse with that for the good karma shard. Next is great karma, which requires lizard and family with a water category that is uncommon or higher. And then for excellent karma, you're going to need the same thing but with rare or higher. And finally, for the legendary version, Hunter's Karma, you're going to need a tortoise shard with the water category. Now, you can go down the rabbit hole with these shards. It is a lot like modded Minecraft, where there's just so much stuff you have to get one item. So the tortoise shard, you're going to need a leatherback shard with water. And for the leatherback shard, you need a shellwise shard with water. And the shellwise shard you get from capturing the turtles that are in the water section, either with traps or with a fishing net. But you can see you got to fuse like so many shards together just to eventually get this Hunter's Karma shard. So it'll take a while to get, but it's definitely worth getting. The next family we're going to talk about is the Hunters section. So some of these are easy to get, like this one, the Viper. You can either fuse Kuboa shards with combat category shards, or you can just buy it right here from Kiara. She sells them for 97,000 coins. You can get 3 of them per day. Now, if you're wondering how many of them you'll need to max them out, it does show right here on the left side. So for uncommon rarities, you will need 64 of the shards to get to level 10. For common rarities, you'll need 85. For rare rarities, you will need 48. For epics, you're going to need 32. And for legendaries, you'll need 24. But back to the hunter shards, this next one gives your black holes much faster capture time. This side only shows what you get at level 1, but here you can see what you'll get at level 10, so 20% faster captures is really nice. And for that, you'll need a Viper shard with a combat category shard of uncommon rarity or higher. The next one is Hunter's Grasp. Apparently, creatures can escape your black holes. I had no idea they could do this, but to prevent that, you'll need these shards. So you can fuse Python shards with combat category and higher. And a reminder, the Python shard is the one we just talked about, where you need Viper with uncommon category or higher. Next up is Basilisk, which makes lassos deplete stamina faster. And for this one, you're going to need King Cobra with combat category of rare rarity or higher. So again, King Cobra is the one we just talked about last time. And finally, you're going to want the Echo of Hunter, which makes all these hunter attributes we just talked about much stronger. as well as the hunter's karma. And for this one, you're going to need moray eel shards with water category of rare or higher, and you get those by combining eels with water of rare or higher. I know this sounds like a lot, it is, but just a reminder so you don't get overwhelmed, you're only going to be going for these like one at a time, so you don't have to remember it all at once. That's what the video is for. And again, once you've unlocked 30 unique shards, you'll be able to look at this menu yourself and be able to find things by name. So again, you don't have to remember all of this. But that moray eel shard is actually going to be nice to go for as well just by itself, because fishing treasure shards will be a lot easier to find, up to 10% easier, and there are a decent chunk of shards that will only be able to be acquired from treasure fishing, or at the very least will be easier to get that way. So if you're interested in the fishing shards, it's a good idea to go for this one as well. The next one we're going to talk about is Charmed. So Charmed gives you an extra chance to charm the shard of monsters you kill. So basically, whenever you kill monsters, you'll have a chance to get their shards without even doing the hunting for them. So there's a lot of mobs in here that already existed before this update that you can kill normally, and then you'll have a chance to get their shard, or you can hunt for them specifically, but sometimes you're just going to want to be killing mobs without having to hunt them all the time. So in that case, Charmed is going to be really nice. To get it, you'll need a Sea Serpent shard combined with a water category of epic or higher. And the Sea Serpent shard is made from the moray eel shard, that lucky rod one that we talked about a minute ago, with the rare rarity or higher. Next is the Echo of Boxes attribute, which you get from fusing Shulker family with the reptile family. So again, the reptiles are the ones that you buy from Kiara right here. And something you may not have noticed is they did add shulkers in the foraging update here. So if you go up to a shulker box like this and kind of try and sneak on top of it, it's a little difficult to do if it doesn't have a block next to it, but right there it'll open up, and then if you back up a little bit and try and punch the orb back into it, then eventually he'll throw the bullet back a few times and then lose the fight, and you'll get the Hidden Leaf Shard, which is part of the Shulker family. So if you combine that with a reptile, then you can get the Echo of Boxes attribute. And we'll talk about why that's important later on. For now, we gotta talk about the Forest Trap attribute, which you get from catching frogs. For frogs, all you gotta do is just go up to them and right-click them, and then just keep following them and right-clicking them until eventually it'll give you a message in your chat, the frog is exhausted, and you'll get the shard. And that'll just help you get a lot of these other shards that you'll need so much easier. Next up is Combo, which allows you to deal up to 1% more damage per Grandma Wolf Pet combo. It doesn't sound crazy, but that 1% does add up. Way you get this one is by hunting Souls of the Alpha inside of the Howling Caves. So if you didn't know, there are 3 different caves here now. There's one right here on the Jungle Island that you can go into. I believe there's another one over here on the Acacia Island, right here inside of the gold mine. And finally, there's one here at the Dark Oak Thicket that you can blow up this wall and get into as well. Next up is the Beacon Zealot attribute. This makes the effects of beacons much stronger. If you get it to level 10, they become twice as strong. So if you have a regular power crystal in your beacon on your island, you can make it give you 5 magic find or some other stat, and this will double it. Plus, you get the extra chance to find signal enhancers, which is helpful for the beacon that you find on the Galatia. And you actually have to use the beacon on Galatia to be able to get this shard. So if we go over to Galatia and head over to the beacon right here, you can right click on it and then tune frequency. So what I want to do is match this bottom beat to whatever it is up here. So first off, I'm going to change the color to pink. I'm going to slow it down a bit, pause, and then unpause. It looks like I'm too fast still, so we're gonna slow down to 3, and then I'm gonna pause it until it meets up with the pink, and there we go. So normally you would also have to change the 3rd section there, but I got lucky and it was on the right number immediately. And so because I did that, I got Enchanted Fig Log and an Enchanted Mangrove Log, but you can also get signal enhancers to boost how much fortune and how many stacks you can get from tuning this frequency. And of course, you can get the Beacon Zealot attribute from doing that as well. So this thing has a cooldown of 10 minutes, so just make sure to try and get in here and do this every 10 minutes, because that shard's going to be really nice. Next up is Moonglade Serendipity. You can get this by placing traps throughout the Murkwater area, or it is also caught by fishing. Now, this is not one of the new fishing sea creatures, so I believe you'll have to just treasure fish and hope that you catch it. But this can increase the items you get from tree gifts, so it's definitely a good idea to get into this as soon as you can as well. So remember why I said you should go for that Echo of Boxes shard earlier? This is why. if you fuse shulker family with wither shards, which wither shards are acquired from F7 and M7, you can increase the quality of your boss rewards in the catacombs by +10. So the quality for Necron's handle in F7 right now is 360, and the quality for scrolls is 350. So basically, anytime that you're currently dropping scrolls is the odds that you would be getting Necron's handles once you get this shard up to max. This is definitely one of the best shards that they added with this update, so you're definitely going to want to go for this one as soon as you can if you're a Dungeons main. Next up is Bone Font, which gives you an extra chance of finding level 6+ books or higher in super pairs. And for this, you can fuse Lapis Zombie shards with rare or higher shards. So to get Lapis Zombie shards, you just hunt Lapis Zombies with a black hole or with traps. Next up is another big one, the Cookie Eater shard. So this means you're going to get half of your booster cookie bits up front. So I believe the way that it works is whenever you eat your booster cookie, ever how many bits per cookie you're supposed to get, you'll get half of them the second you eat the cookie. And the way you get this shard is actually inside of the shop right here, the bit bug, which does cost 5,000 bits a piece, and you need 48 of them. So it's going to cost nearly 250,000 bits to max this out. But once you've got it maxed, you're never going to need bits again. Next up is Deadeye, which increases the damage from ranged weapons by 25%. I think the best way to get this one will be killing Skeletors while using salts, which the way you get salts currently is from the Lush Lilac collection. So it's just the little azalea bushes on the foraging island. If you go and right click those, you get lush lilacs, and you can use them to turn into lush lilac bonbons or the other higher rarity ones once you unlock them. And they'll grant you a percentage chance to charm the mobs you defeat and capture their shards. So instead of having to hunt for the mobs, you can just kill them and you have a low chance of getting their shard. Or you can combine the Bone Font shard, the Lapis Skeleton shard, with a rare or higher tier shard. Next up's one I know a lot of you will like, the Accessory Size shard, which is going to grant you +10 accessory bag slots when you max it out. To get it, you'll have to fuse Shulker family and rare or higher with rare or higher. So I think that means you're going to need a rare tier shulker family shard with a rare or higher shard of something else. Unfortunately, for me to test it out, I think I would actually have to max out the shard, because you can see I've got it right here, but it doesn't show up in my menu because I don't have it maxed. So we'll just have to wait and see for that one. Next up, we of course got to talk about Lifeline. So most of you already know what Lifeline does. When under 20% health, you get a 25% damage and defense boost at level 10. For this shard, you get it from hunting Catanites with pocket black holes, salts, or you can obtain it from Kudra. There's also the new Ignition shard, which increases the duration of fire damage that you inflict on enemies by 300%. So it's 4 times the length for fire aspect and flame. But the way you get it is by killing machos with salts or with pocket black holes, and it is obtained from Kudra. Next up, there's Extreme Pressure, which is acquired from Lumi squids, and it can give you up to 50 pressure resistance. You can either catch Lumi squids in the squid cave with traps or with a fishing net. If you didn't know, there is a secret squid cave if you swim down to the section here that you can see the endstone on. So if you just swim down through this section, eventually you will get to the Jade Dragon Cave, but instead of going all the way down that way, you can just go down here, and then to the left where you see the dripstone, right here you can find the glow squids, and then you can either catch them with your fishing net. It takes a while, they've got a lot of health, but you can see, there we go, we caught one, and that's how you get the pressure resistance shard. Next up is the Pure Reptile. This one gives you a chance to double shards from reptile fusions, and it's acquired from the Crocodile shard, which is from Kiara's shop. Then there's Deep Diving, which you get from catching dolphins, so you can either use traps or the fishing nets. Basically, for these guys, you just go find a dolphin, hit it with a net a few times, and then you'll notice that they start to swim towards one of these little cave sections here. Once they're inside, you can then start actually doing damage to them. And once they've lost all of their health, you'll catch them and get their shard. Next up, there's the Elastic. This one is also from Kiara's shop, or apparently you can catch eels by fishing in the Moonglade Marsh as well. But they increase your pull when using fishing nets, basically the amount of damage you do with nets, so that you can catch those creatures faster. Next up is Berry Mogul, which makes your salts last a bit longer. This one's not crazy important because salts already last 12 hours at the lowest rarity, so when you're doing the low section ones, it doesn't really matter. They're super easy to get. But once you get to these higher rarity ones, they start getting a bit more expensive. They do start lasting 24 hours, but that extra 2.5 hours could make things a little bit easier on your purse. So this one is one of the less important ones that we'll go over today, but it is still important, and you get it from fusing bullfrog shards with forest category of rare or higher, and you get bullfrog shards from fusing frogs with forest of rare or higher. Next is the dominant shard, which gives you 15% more damage when you're at full HP, and this one is obtained from floor 4. Now I'm not sure if it's just regular floor 4 or if M4 is also included, but at the very least it's from floor 4. I didn't want to go over too much non-combat stuff today, but deep technique is super strong, gives you a 10% chance to get an extra pristine for whatever block you're mining, and you can get this one from killing Baal while using salts. Next up is sack size, so it makes your sacks hold up to 10% more items, and for this you'll need a shulker family and a rare or higher with an epic or higher. Next is blazing, which gives you up to 30% more damage against mobs on the Crimson Isle, and you can get this one from hunting flares with black holes or salts, or from Kudra. Next there's reborn, which gives you an extra bonus score from dungeon runs whenever you kill a prince. So if you don't know, the princes are the NPCs that spawn from crypts sometimes and drop like extra revive stones, and they look a little different than normal crypt undeads. So every time you kill one of these, you can get a bonus score added to your dungeon run, and the way you acquire it is from killing princes while using salts. Next up is Faker, which gives you 10% stronger blessings, and this one is acquired from killing mimics with salts, so it's going to be one of the rarer ones, seeing as there is only one mimic per run. You and your party members are probably going to be fighting over this one, and even though the mage is going to be getting the blood mobs, if you're dropping these consistently, you're making more money. Next up is a huge one, the shell attribute. This one makes you gain 100% regular knockback resistance. So it's basically just a dwarf turtle shellment, and you can get this one from placing traps in Murkwater depths or from catching the sea turtles with your fishing net. Next up is Warrior, which increases melee damage dealt by 25%. Gonna be very strong for slayers. And you can catch Barb Duke X's with pocket black holes, or kill them while using salt, or just run Kudra and hope you drop one. Next up is good old mana regen. You get this one from hunting atoms with lassos, or capturing them with atomizers, killing them with salts, running Kudra, or placing traps in the Mystic Marsh. If you didn't know, the atoms are these XYZ mobs that you can find here in the Crimson Isle. These guys right here, that one is X, as you can see. But if you catch these guys with lassos or with the atomizer or something, then you can get their shards just like that. And voila, we have mana regen. Next up is the Reptiloid shard, which makes fusions with the chameleons, which are this shard, grant next 3 IDs as results. So that's a little bit confusing, but if you look in this menu here, you can see that each one of these guys has an ID. So for example, if we go to the source right here, Tempest shard is L3, legendary 3, so it's the 3rd legendary shard in the menu. And then there's Vitality, which is L15, the 15th legendary shard in the menu. So if you use chameleons, whatever you fuse with them, you'll get the next 3 IDs as options to be chosen from that fusion. So if I fuse Reptiloid with the Magic Find shard, aka L28, then I'll get L29 as an option, L30 as an option, and L31 as an option. So if I want any of these 3 shards right here, I can fuse Chameleon with the Cinderbat shard and get any of these 3 shards. And that works with any other option. So it's a very strong shard for fusion. Next up is Paramount Fortitude, which can increase your defense by up to 2%. And this one is just dropped by dragons in the end. Then there's Payback, which makes when you get hit, your next hit will deal 20% more damage. And this one is from Spikes, which is the pufferfish that you can find on Galatia. For these guys, you got to be pretty far away from them to catch them. You can see if you get too close, they'll puff up and then they're immune. So unfortunately, I don't think the basic fishing net is going to work. You'll need an upgraded net to actually be able to start catching these. But once you get your hands on it, this shard is very strong. Next up is Pity, one of the stronger shards that we're going to get here for RNG meter stuff. It increases your RNG meter by 10% speed. And you get this one from fusing 2 Vitality shards, which which are obtained from Kudra, or you can just drop it from Kudra as well. So this one's a very strong shard, but probably the strongest shard that currently exists as far as money making goes is the Wings of Destiny shard. So apparently you can drop the Anank feathers from Kudra, and this increases your odds of finding them by plus 20%. So if you don't know what these feathers are, you get them right now from turning in your god rolls, and they give you RNG meter on whatever you want. And I'm not sure what the base drop rate is, but this increases it by 20%. So highly recommend running some Kudra after this update drops, because in spite of god rolls being deleted, it's still going to make a lot of money. Now, an honorable mention here is the star bait one. It grants you a chance to fish a shiny fish, which I believe has a chance to drop a shiniest, which is what you need to get the Jade Dragon. And you can either get it from Kudra or from fusing the Vitality Shard with anything from the water category. And I believe you have to treasure fish to catch shiny fish. So this will increase your odds of catching them, but I'm not sure what the base odds are. Next up is one that I'm not sure if it's good, but I feel like I should mention it because it looks like it might be. Wart Eater grants you a 0.05% chance to obtain warty when breaking nether wart. And this one goes way down the rabbit hole. I think there's like 17 or something different fusions. It's not 17, but it's like somewhere between 5 and 10 fusions that you have to do to be able to obtain this shard. And I don't know what warty does. If we look for it on Bazaar, you just find the shard that is used and not the warty itself. If we look for it in recipes, it does not exist. So I have no idea what it is or what it does. But just in case it's good, I thought I'd mention it. And again, this requires fusing Dragonfly shards with Legendary. For Dragonfly shards, you have to fuse Firefly shards with Dragon Family shards. For Firefly shards, you have to fuse Lunar Moth shard with any of these other shards. For Lunar Moths, you need Ladybug shards with Bug Family and Rare or higher. For Ladybug, you need Crop Eagle shards with Bug Family. For Crop Eagle shards, you need Invisibug with Termite shards. Invisibug, you apparently can catch here on Galatia. There's some kind of particle that will appear. I haven't seen it myself, but apparently there's a particle that you can find and then throw a net at it and you'll catch the Invisibug. But for termites, you have to fuse a Bug Family with Praying Mantis shards. For Praying Mantis shards, you have to fuse 2 Pest shards together. And for the Pest shard, you just have to kill pests while using salts, catch them with lassos, or catch them with black holes. So that is a ridiculous amount of things that you have to fuse just to get this one shard. So I'm assuming this warty drop is very strong, but we'll have to wait till somebody gets it on the main server. But moving on from that, the next ones are a lot easier. Elite gives you 30% more damage against bosses and mini bosses, so dungeons are going to be a lot easier. Slayers are going to be a lot easier. Even though you don't have Lifeline and Kudra, this will make it a little bit better than not having anything in place of Lifeline. And you get this one from M7 and M7 alone. So it's going to be very tough to get these. They're going to be pretty expensive, I imagine, but you'll need 24 of them to max it out. Next, there's Starborn, which gives you a 10% stronger effect. And this is from fusing 2 shiny fish shards together. So the Starborn temples aren't super strong on the alpha because there's not a ton of people that are using them, but I imagine on the main server when there's hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people using them, that a 10% buff is going to be a lot more powerful. And the last big shard is the Almighty shard. This one gives you 50% stronger from the unlimited attributes, which we'll go and talk about those in a moment. But you get this from fusing Ether Drake and Jormung shards. And those are the shards you'll need for the regular unlimited shards. So the Jormung shards give you the unlimited power ability, which can give you up to 1% more strength. And that's from fusing the Power Dragon shard, the one from M7, and the Kraken shard, which is the one from Kudra. And then there's the unlimited energy, which gives you 1% extra crit damage. And that's from fusing the Apex Dragon shard and the Kraken shard. Kraken shard is one from Kudra, and the Apex Dragon shard is from M7, as well as fusing Power Dragon shards with any shard. So those were the main big shards. I did want to give an honorable mention to the rest of these right here, the ruler shards that are pretty strong if you level them up. They just give you more damage towards specific types of creatures. So altogether, they could be very, very powerful, especially if you're going for a specific type of Slayer or lava sea creature, whatever it is. But those are the coolest and best shards that got added to the game with this update, and the ones that I recommend focusing on when it drops on the main server. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please make sure to drop a like, smash that sub button if you haven't already. We're closing in on 25,000 subs, and if we get up to 30k before the next alpha, that'd be really nice. Then I wouldn't have to wait 3 hours in queue every time I wanted to make a video. So make sure to smash that sub button, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Have an amazing rest of your day, and God bless.